Hello, today's speech will be about agricultural philosophy of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States of America. In my previous speech, I mentioned that occupying American forces in Japan brought a Jeffersonian understanding of agriculture to Japan in 1940s. In order to read Jefferson's agricultural philosophy better, I will concentrate a little on it in my speech. The main source of my speech will be Lauren Johnson's paper published on YouTube and the book of Jefferson, published in 1941, written by a well-known American philosopher, John Dewey, who was called to Turkey and in many other countries in 1930s and 40s. And for the educational policies actually in the developing countries. Jefferson is one of the thinkers at the age of enlightenment. Jefferson, who lived between 1743 and 1823, believed that the nation's strength and prosperity lay in an independent agricultural society in which small farmers were the backbone of the economy. He favored policies that supported agricultural interests, such as reducing government intervention and promoting self-sufficiency. If I start with Jefferson's ideas on agriculture, Jefferson argues that the American manufacturing industry should be focused primarily on supporting agriculture, and that products related to the manufacturing industry can be imported. He mentions that they have land and workers in America, and the importance of human resources in animal husbandry. He defends the thesis that the society can continue to be virtuous and free as long as the Jefferson lands are reserved for agriculture. Jefferson believes in the benefit of agriculture for independence. He argues that the power of industry is with businessmen and the central government rather than the banks and employees. Jefferson's think about the dependency and independency in a way that the commercial economy is dividing families and fragmenting societies, that people choose jobs and that choice makes them more dependent on employers. Most importantly, he says that a commercial economy creates a majority that cannot feed itself and meet its own needs and stop thinking about freedom in the first place. He states that commercial people are therefore less free and more dependent on tyranny or despotic governments. Here, there is a question arises. The question, why does an agricultural-based economy promote morality? According to the Jeffersons, a simpler, quieter life gives more time for reflection, response, and community. Statements that making money from money based on speculation, borrowing, and investment diverse minds from business, products, and people involved, focusing more on money. It underlines that commitment creates a follower mentality and that it goes with the fashion of the day, whether or not it reflects virtue. It was also stated that a commercial economy drives people to overconsumption, gambling, and prostitution. A commercial economy encourages an idea that supports that the material is good. Living on the land means the satisfaction on knowing how to care for yourself and others in a local community feeds the human spirit. And it means that a life based on agriculture is more spiritual. He states that industry prevents man's direct contact with God. He states that working in the fields reminds a person to enter an appropriate relationship with the creator of the universe. He states that evil cannot be cured suddenly, perhaps not cured completely. He says that he does not dare to say how it can be healed. He undoubtedly thinks that the nation has many locomotives that it can employ in this regard. He argues that agriculture is the first sector to provide social benefit and that it should be the first in terms of respectability. The same artificial means used to create competition in learning can be equally successful in restoring agriculture to its original dignity in the eyes of the people. That agriculture is a science of the first order, like the most respectable sciences such as chemistry, natural philosophy, mechanics, mathematics, in general, natural history, botany. At every college and university, an agricultural professor and his student may be honored as first in their class. Young people who complete their academic education in agriculture instead of crowding other classes at a time when all other sciences are the crown jewel of all other sciences, attracted by its solid charm and choosing a profession, will return to their father farms, support their own or other farms, and renew a cause that was languishing under humiliation and oppression at the time Jefferson was living. Charitable schools, which have been converted into agricultural schools, think that instead of filling their students with a knowledge that is not required by the current state of society, they should equip them with qualities that will enrich themselves, honor them, and increase the production of the nation. He was believing that they had enough land to employ an infinite number of people in agricultural work. The world's growers are its most valuable citizens. They are the strongest, the most independent, the most virtuous, and they are the most devoted to their country, the most enduring ties to their liberty and interest. Therefore, he says, as long as they can find work in this business, I will not return them into sailors, craftsmen, or anything else. No war which threatens France with an unfavorable situation can be saved for us, and in the next step it will probably plunge us back into ocean of speculation, drive us into excessive commerce, turn us into sea voyagers under French and Dutch colors, divert us from our vices, occupation, agriculture, because it will ultimately be the greatest contributor to true wealth, good morals, and happiness. Wealth gained through speculation and plunder is temporary in nature and fills society with the spirit of gambling. The reasonable and sure income of husbandry brings about permanent development, quiet life, and orderly behavior in both public and private shepherds. We have no opportunity for further trade other than removing our unnecessary products. The difference of situation between this country and the old European countries provide differences of facts for reasoning in matters of political economy, and consequently sometimes produces differences in results that, for example, the quantity of food is constant or increases slowly and only at an arithmetic rate, and the rate is limited to the same rate. As a result, extra births only increase your mortality rate. The vast expanse of anyone willing to work, to marry at a young age and start families of all sizes, then our food can increase geometrically along with our workers, and no matter how much it increases, our births will be effective. Again, the best distribution of labor is assumed to be that which places manufacturers near agriculture. Thus, one side will feed both, while the other side will provide clothing and other comforts. Would this place be the best? He asking this question. My ego and first appearances say yes. Or would it be better if all our laborers were employed in agriculture? The second question. In this case, 2 or 3 times as much of the fertile land will be brought into culture. 2 or 3 times as much food will be produced, and the excess goes to feed the now extinct offspring of Europe, who will in turn produce and send us our clothes and other comforts. Morality listens to this, and the laws of nature so invariable create our duties and interests that when we seem to contradict each other, we must suspect some error in our reasonings. In settling these questions, we must also give fair weight to the moral and physical preference of agricultural workers over manufacturers.